Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super Reviews and Predictions, in which I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Episode 43, and then giving my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super Episode 44, and what's going to happen in that. Well, a lot of stuff happened on this recent edition of Dragon Ball Super, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so without further ado, let's jump right into this review. Alright, and as always, to start off this review, I'm going to run through basically quickly what happened in this episode, tell you guys kind of what happened if you haven't seen the episode yet, or if you want my perspective on it, and then give my thoughts on it when it's over and along the way. So let's start off at the beginning. At the beginning, we see Goku is at his house, and he's in the middle of eating his meal. However, when Chi-Chi is bringing over all of his food, she's shocked to find out that Goku has only eaten half as much as he normally does. And as Goku says, he's not feeling very well. Chi-Chi doesn't really know what's wrong with him, so she sends him out to go do some errands and go get the groceries. As we see, Goku is going out and getting the groceries. However, when he's flying over the city trying to look for the next place to go, it seems like he's starting to have some problems flying and controlling his energy, and he falls all the way to the ground, almost hitting into the ground until he suddenly does. And we find out after this that apparently Goku is having issues controlling his ki, so Chi-Chi tells him to go and talk to King Kai to try and see what the problem is. So Goku goes and teleports off, and then we get a funny sequence in this episode where Goku is teleporting to all the wrong places because he cannot control where he's going apparently. And naturally, the first place Goku goes, we end up finding out, is in Bulma's bedroom in Capsule Corp. And naturally, knowing Goku and Bulma's dynamic, as Bulma gets out of the shower, Goku sees her, which leads to her screaming and Vegeta running in furious. Bulma actually sets off her security system and points a bunch of laser guns straight at Goku's head, and Vegeta in a rage yells at Goku to get the hell out of there, which Goku obliges. But Goku doesn't make it to King Kai's place just yet, as he appears on Krillin's desk in the police station, and he's wondering why exactly he's there. It's kind of funny, they're actually face to face in typical Goku fashion, always getting straight in people's faces and kind of weirding them out. Goku's kind of a weird dude after all. But then Goku goes somewhere completely different that we haven't seen him go to since Dragon Ball, as we see this weird poop that seems to have a face on it, and then we see someone poking it, and that person is Aurelie from Dr. Slump, and we saw that they actually had a crossover in Dragon Ball when Goku was fighting against General Blue, and naturally Aurelie was the one to finish the job. And a lot of people figured that when Aurelie was going to show up in this episode, she was going to have a little bit more to do than this quick little cameo. And even though it was fun, you know, maybe we had figured for a long time, maybe Aurelie is from Earth 6, or maybe Aurelie comes from one of the other universes that they mentioned, considering that Dr. Slump is not supposed to take place in the Dragon Ball universe, but a completely different one. But I guess we didn't really get to see anything with that. I guess it was fun while it lasted though. But then we see Goku again teleporting off, and this time he's on top of Korin's tower at the very peak where he once put the power pole into it. Although I thought the power pole was still there at this point. I don't really know where what might have went since then, but apparently it's not there anymore, so who cares about inconsistencies? But with that, Goku finally makes it to King Kai's planet, and after King Kai checks him out, he reveals that Goku has something called Delayed Onset Ki Syndrome as a result of him using Kaioken during the tournament, and because of this, Goku cannot use his ki properly. King Kai actually tells him too that he needs to take it easy, or else Goku may never be able to use his ki properly again, which obviously raises the stakes in this case. It makes me wonder if this is going to lead into anything interesting in the future, with Goku being temporarily weakened, which does increase the tension of the episodes in which any kind of threat coming to the Earth or any other threat coming to Goku's general well-being would be involved in. But then, of course, we cut over to Goku returning to his home, and unfortunately, he doesn't return to it in one piece, as he crash lands into it and destroys the whole thing. We then cut over to see Gohan, the best character in this entire series, doing exactly what he should be doing in fight. Oh wait, never mind. He's at the middle of a meeting with Videl, and they're talking to some big shot academic, telling him how he really liked Gohan's performance at this conference that Gohan went to. And of course, this is a conference that Gohan went to that he was unable to attend the tournament for. I still don't understand why he attended the conference over the tournament, considering his whole family is ridiculously rich and he shouldn't even have to work in the first place. And he seemed like he wanted to fight, but in either case, it's nice to see Gohan in an episode, I guess, and hopefully Gohan is going to accomplish a lot in this upcoming arc, since we all know that Future Trunks is coming back, but I guess we'll probably get into that a little bit later. But as we see, Gohan's meeting with this individual is interrupted when his father calls him on the phone. And as he's on the phone, Pilaf and his gang show up and listen in on Gohan's conversation and hear about how Goku is in a weakened state. And so it seems like they begin to plot something against him. We then see Goku and the others are at Gohan's house, and basically they're having to crash there while their house has been destroyed. So essentially, Piccolo is telling them how to take care of Pan while they're there. And as we know, Piccolo is incredibly strict, and even with Pan, he's incredibly strict, even though it's clear that he has a very soft heart when it comes to Gohan's child, maybe because he's a really protective grandmother. And after all, Piccolo don't got no pickle, now does he? But as he's leaving and as they're bidding him farewell so he can go on his way, Piccolo reveals that he truly is jealous after all, and comes back into the house so that he could help to take care of Pan. And I'm sure that Quinn was very happy that we got to see Piccolo even further in this episode, weren't you, Quinn? And then we see Piccolo, Goku, and Pan on the roof of Gohan's house, as Goku is basically talking about how he's trying to get Pan to call him grandfather, and how he actually does like being a grandfather in general. And we do get this interesting shot of Pan reaching for the stars, which I kind of hope isn't, foreshadowing for Dragon Ball GT, since we all know that Pan is the one who wants to go into space and causes the whole mission. But I guess all the GT fans right now are probably flipping their shit because they really want this to happen. But evil things were about to come about. As everyone was asleep, the Pilaf gang showed up, ready to make their strike against Goku and the others because Goku was in a weakened state. And they reveal that basically Pilaf spent all of their food money on this new Pilaf machine, reminiscent of Dragon Ball, that Pilaf tried to attack Goku with throughout the entire course of that series. And I don't know why he thinks it's going to work now when it didn't work back then. Now Goku can literally destroy the universe, but who knows? But naturally, Pilaf's plans did not go about the same way that he intended them to, as Pan shows up and they're all freaked out once they hear that Piccolo is screaming at Goku because they cannot find Pan. And in a rush and in a frenzy, Pilaf and the gang fly off in their ship into the sky, trying to get away from those who have just been awoken. And they find out that they had accidentally taken Pan with them. And then there's a funny scene in which we find out that Pan needs a diaper change, and Shu, being a dog, is really bothered by the smell, which causes him to nearly throw up. Pilaf goes into kind of a rage because of this and smashes his hand down on the console, which makes their rocket shoot up into the air. It's kind of funny once again, this seems to be even more Dragon Ball GT foreshadowing, because Pan in Dragon Ball GT smashed the console, sending them flying off into space on their adventure in the first place. And then we see that Pan in this shot, as it seems like they're all careening out of control and they're about to die, powers up and flies out of the spaceship into space. Now, again, it seems like this is kind of foreshadowing GT here, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm sure a lot of people notice this except for me. But on top of that, I want to point out the fact that Vegeta died when he was in space in Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, after Frieza blew up the planet and Frieza was still alive. Why the hell did Vegeta die in space when baby Pan, of all people, can float around in space with the Pilaf gang perfectly fine? And I know that all these people in the comment section are like, wait, Mike, they're not in space, don't you see? I mean, you could still see the Earth behind them. I mean, there's totally oxygen. I mean, how else would they be breathing in space, Mike? I mean, that's not possible. There's no oxygen in space. It's a fictional freaking show. They can breathe in space, alright? All they have to do is tell us at this point. There's no oxygen where they are right now, alright? We don't even see the tops of mountains anymore. And when you go to the top of a mountain, you usually die because there's no oxygen. It's called the kill zone. And Pan is flying thousands of miles above that, so they're in space for all intents and purposes. Let's stop pretending now. But again, Pan looks up into space, wanting to go even further into the sky. However, she thinks of her grandfather's face and decides maybe some other time in the future, maybe in another series that came out 20 years ago called Dragon Ball GT. And at that point in time, we wrap up the episode as Pan drops the Pilaf gang in a tree, and then we find her at Gohan's house as he comes home with Videl and greets them. And apparently everyone thought that Pan was actually home the entire time because they found her asleep on the couch. And to end the episode, a nice heartwarming scene, we see that Pan is reaching out for Goku, calling her her grandfather, and showing her that she loves him. Now, isn't that nice? You better not ruin this show with GT. And basically, that was the newest episode episode of Dragon Ball Super, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It ended up being an episode that we kind of thought would be a nice other slice of life episode that they're building in between, you know, the current arcs, which I guess Super tends to do, and Super really excels at doing these slice of life things. I know that Akira Toriyama a long time ago said that he actually wanted the Buu Saga for a while to be just slice of life episodes, which is why he did the whole Great Saiyaman arc in the first place. However, it's nice to see him getting to do a lot more of that now in Dragon Ball Super, and it seems like everyone really enjoys this for the most part, although I would like to know if you guys actually enjoy it down below in the comments section. I mean, let me know about that, because, I mean, there are a lot of people who only watch the show for the action, but I think the characters and their interactions are a lot more interesting than people punching themselves in the face sometimes. But with that being said, let's now get into my predictions. And now what we see in the next episode, it appears that Goten and Trunks are going on yet another mission or another journey of their hijinks as they get into the back of Jocko's van and they shoot off into space to go to another delivery on another planet. However, things don't seem to be very safe as we see Goten and Trunks actually get frozen, and there's this other strange alien who it would appear is protecting them and who is trying to fight off this legion of evil aliens. I don't really know who these characters are. Maybe the ones that we seem to think are evil are actually the good guys. I mean, this is Toei editing after all. They trick us into thinking things all the time. But it seems like the next episode is going to be some fun, and we're going to get even more action involved too, as Goku seems to be stepping up and taking the stage to help fight against these enemies that Goten and Trunks are fighting against and who have been enslaved by them. And I wonder if these characters are now going to be a threat to Goku because of the fact that he is having these issues controlling his ki. And I feel like that'll definitely be a nice way for them to create a sense of tension that this show really oftentimes is kind of missing. But in either case, this has been another edition of Dragon Ball Super reviews and predictions. Let me know your own thoughts down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know what you thought of this episode, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow my Twitter at LSM Mike, and as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Do it now. What do you wait?
Do it now, you puny man. Who cares about the universe 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Blah.
Not the universe of biceps. No.